This is Math 7, Operations with Decimals, Section 2.6. Well, first we're going to add and subtract decimals. So you have learned how to add and subtract positive decimals, how to apply the rules for adding them. You can combine these skills to add and subtract decimals. Kind of like order of operations, but with decimals. So from this table here, you can see the negative decimals mean that the company lost money doing business in January and February. But in March, they made a profit because it's positive. So you can find the company's combined loss for January and February, as well as the net profit or loss made at the end of the 3 months. Basically, we're going to take the negative numbers, subtract them, the positive numbers, and add them. So to find this combined loss, we could evaluate the sum of negative 2.14 and negative 1.5. For the first 2 months, we could do that by adding those, and that gives us 3.64, and because they're both negative, it is a negative number. Okay, so you could do it that way. Now remember how you add decimals is 2.14, 1.5. You always need to align the decimal points, so add another 0 if you need. 4 plus 0 is 4, 1 plus 5 is 6, the decimal place is here, the 3 is there, so we get 3.64. Since they're both negative, it's a negative number. Okay, so let's try this with the absolute values. We're going to do a different problem. So if we want to start with this, and then we want to take the third value, that 2.17, we're going to say negative 3.64 plus 2.17, because this was the value for March. Remember, this is January, February, March. So we already did January, and February. Now we're going to add that January, February one to the March one. And to do that, let's write in absolute values. So absolute value of negative 3.64 equals 3.64. Absolute value of 2.17 equals 2.17. Since the signs are opposite, we're going to subtract, so 3.64 minus 2.17. It works the same as here to subtract, so you would put the first one on the top. It just happens here that the decimal place is aligned, so we're good. And we will make this 14 to make that 5. 14 minus 7 is 7. 5 minus 1 is 4. Move the decimal place down. 3 minus 2 is 1. And that becomes our answer. So for here, it's 1.47. The larger number has the sign of negative, so the whole number is negative. It's negative 1.47. And so that is our total. So we know that the net profit was not a profit, it was a loss. So they lost $1.47 million. That's a lot. If it was million rupiah, it wouldn't be as much. Still be a lot, but $1 million, a lot of money. So example 19. In example 19a, we see negative 4.52 plus 3.26. Let's use absolute values to try this. So negative 4.52 absolute value minus absolute value of 3.26 equals 4.52 minus 3.26 equals 1.26. Now going back to this original expression, because the larger one is a negative sign, this has a negative sign, so it becomes negative 1.26, and that's our answer. B, negative 7.4 minus 5.18. Okay, you could also say negative 7.4 plus the opposite, which is negative 5.18, and that gives us, well, we're going to find the answer, so let's put in absolute values. Negative 7.4 absolute value plus absolute value of negative 5.18 equals 7.4 plus 5.18, and that gives us the answer of 12.58. We're going to go back to the common sign, so because the common sign was negative, when we go back up, we're going to give it a negative 12.58 sign, and that's our answer. Try this. Guided practice 1, 2, 3. Example 20. A diver went 30.65 feet below the surface, which means it's negative, in the ocean, and then went down another negative 46.5 feet because he went down that much further, but then came back up a little bit and came back up 52.45 feet. So that number is positive. So now let's combine all these. We get negative 30.65 minus 46.5 plus 52.45, which is equal to negative 30.65 plus negative 46.5 plus negative 50. No, sorry. That's not negative. So it's just plus 52.45. Okay. Sorry if that one's sloppy there. So first let's use absolute value to do the first two numbers. So we're going to do these two numbers. Absolute value of negative 30.65 plus absolute value of negative 46.5 equals 30.65 plus 46.5, which equals 77.15. Going to use the common sign. So I'm going to put that in parentheses. So this becomes negative 77.15 plus 52.45. Let's do this again in absolute values. Absolute value of negative 77.15 plus absolute value of 52.45 equals, now the signs are opposite, so we're going to do subtraction. So that gives us 77.15 minus 52.45, which gives us 24.7. Okay, notice all these in the parentheses. Now the signs, the larger number is a negative, so this whole thing is going to become a negative. So our answer is going to be negative 24.7 feet. That's how much he went below the surface. The diver went very deep. Go ahead and try guided practice on your own. 4. Next, let's multiply numbers in decimal or percent form. Okay, the rules for multiplying integers also apply to multiplying numbers in decimal form. For example, the product of negative 2.05 and 1.2. Remember, product is multiplication, so if we want to multiply them, set it up in a little chart just like you do normal numbers. So 205 over 1.2, multiply it. So 2 times 5 equals 0. Carry the 1. That's 0 plus 1 is 1. 2 times 2 is 4. Now we're on the second place, so we have to carry down a 0. And then we start from here. 1 times 5 is 5. 1 times 0 is 0. 1 times 2 is 2. Now let's add that together. 0, 6, 4, 2. We see this. Now here we have 2 decimal places because you have 1, 2. Here you have 1 decimal place. So let's add those, and that gives us down here 3 decimal places. So 1, 2, 3. And this becomes our answer that goes up here. It's 2.46. Remember, we can just get rid of the 0 at the end. This one's negative. There's 1 negative, so our answer in total is going to be negative. Let's try. Example 21. Example 21 states to evaluate each product. A, we see 6.72 times negative 0.4. So let's put that in our equation. And when you do these problems, when you do the guided practice, I want you to evaluate them using this method, not the calculator, so that you know how to do this method. Okay? Let's put it together. 6.72, 0.4. You get 4 times 2 is 8. 4 times 7 is 28. 4 times 6 is 24. Plus 2 is 26. 0. Then you have 0 times 2. 7. 0. All those carry down. Now we have 1 decimal place here, 2 decimal places there. So again, when we add them, we get 3 decimal places. And that 3 decimal places, 1, 2, 3, gives us the answer up here of 2.688. Signs are opposite, so answer is opposite. B, negative 51 times negative 8.5. Let's put that into a problem here. So we have 51 and 8.5. So we're going to multiply. 5 times 1 is 5. 5 times 5 is 25. 8 times 1 is 8. 8 times 5 is 40. Now we're going to add those. 5 plus 0 is 5. 5 plus 8 is 13. 1 plus 2 is 3. And then we carry down our 4. Now we have 0 decimals here, 1 decimal here. So our total is going to be just 1 decimal place because we have 0 and 1, so it becomes 1. So we only have to carry the decimal place over to here. Then for our answer, 433.5, signs are the same, so it is positive. C, 6% of 530. Remember, when you're given a percent, the first thing you're going to do is to write that percent as a decimal. So we have our percent. To make it into a decimal, we take 6 divided by 100, which equals 0.06. Because it's 6 hundredths. This is the 10th place, the 100th place. So we have this much of that much. Now remember, when you say of, you just mean multiply. So this equals 0.06 times 530. That's what that problem means. So let's try it. 530 and 0.06. 6 times 0 is 0. 6 times 3 is 18. 6 times 5 is 30, plus 1 is 31. Now we're just going to carry the zeros for the other ones. And we can add, so 0, 8, 1, 3, 0, 0. We have over here 0 decimals, 2 decimals. So when you add those together, that gives us a grand total of 2 decimals. So we have 1, 2, and you go here. So your answer to your question up here, we can get rid of these zeros and we can get rid of this 0. It becomes 31.8. Both signs are the same, they're positive, so our answer remains positive. Go ahead and try, go to practice. 5, 6, and 7. Next, divide numbers in decimal or percent form. We're going to divide numbers in decimal and percent form. So we already multiplied, now we're going to divide them. Let's try negative 24.18 divided by 2.6. So remember, when you do something division, you're going to put the first thing inside your long division box here. So you're going to put 24.18 because it comes first. divided by, you put the second number on the outside. First number on the inside, second number on the outside. Then you are going to divide the two decimals without their signs, because we'll figure out the sign at the end. So divide it like that, but we need to move the decimal places so that we're not dividing by 2.6. So move that one over 1. Because you moved this one over 1, you can also move this one over 1. So it becomes 26 and 241.8. Okay? Now, 26 does not go into 24, so we have to figure out how many times 26 goes into 241. It goes in 9 times. 9 times 26 is 234. The sum of that, or the difference of that, is 7. And then we carry down the 8. 26 goes into 78 3 times. 3 times 26 is 78. That's 0. Now the decimal place is here, so we carry it up, and the answer becomes 9.3, which we'll carry down here. Now notice the signs are different, so the answer is negative. It's the same thing as multiplying. Okay, it's negative 9.3. Let's try an example. Example 22. Example 22 is divided decimal by decimal. So 13.14 divided by negative 1.8. First, let's ignore the signs for just a minute. Let's get rid of the signs. The first one goes inside, 13.14. Second one goes outside, 1.8. Remember, we're ignoring the signs for now. Move that one over 1. Move that one over 1. It becomes 18 over 8, or it becomes 131.4 divided by 18. So 18 is on the outside. And then we're going to figure out 18 does not go into 13. 18 can go into 131 7 times. 7 times 18 is 126. 131 minus 126 is 5. Carry down the 4. 18 goes into 54. 3 times 18 is 54. 0 is our remainder. And up here we carry up the decimal place to here. Becomes 7.3. This equals 7.3. Sorry, that's for this problem. 7.3. The signs are different, so we have to add that negative, and it becomes negative 7.3. On your own, try go to practice. 8, 9. Example 23. We're going to apply the order of operations to decimals. So we're combining all these order of operations. Remember, the order of operations is parentheses, exponents, multiplication and division go together, and then addition and subtraction go together. So PEMDAS. That's the order of operations. Let's apply that. A says a hot air balloon ascended at 0.7 meters per second. It then descended, so that's how it went up. It then descended at 0.5 meters per second for, it descended, it did that for 8 seconds. This one ascended for 8 seconds. This one actually descended for 6 seconds, sorry. So let's do a problem. To figure out how much it went up, you're just going to say 0.7 times 8. To say how much it went down, you're going to say negative 0.5 times 6, because it went down. So now to figure out the total, we're just going to add these. So 0.7 times 8 minus 0.5 times 6. Remember, multiplication goes first. So 0.7 times 8 equals 5.6 minus 3.0 is these two. And that gives us the answer of 2.6. So the overall change was 2.6 meters. And because it's positive, we know that it went up. Yay! B. An electronic game system set costs $399 plus 4% sales tax. Now, what is the total cost of the game system? There's two ways we could do this. Method 1 says 399 plus 0.04 times 399 equals, because you're saying this 399 goes right here. 4% sales tax, that is what this is. Because you have to say, what is 4% of 399? So this is how we write 4%. It's 4 divided by 100, 4 hundredths, of 399. So that's why we're multiplying it. So you can do this, and then you could say, okay, $399 plus $15.96. That's our sales tax. That's when we multiplied it. And then you can say the total equals $414.96. That's the total you'd pay for the game system that originally cost $399. Sales tax stinks. Method 2, let's try it a second way. So instead of doing it this way, you could say, okay, well, I have $399. Instead of writing sales tax like this, you could also write it like plus, or you could write the whole thing as times 1.04, because basically you have 100% plus 4%, so you get 104%, and that would give you $414.96 total. Last one, C. So over a 10-year period, so 10 years, the population of one city went from 3.2 million to 2.8 million. They lost people. We want to know the percent of change. What is the percent of change? So to do this, we need to know the difference. So we need to know 3.2 minus 2.8. What is the difference between those? And, oh, actually, sorry. We want to go the difference. So we want to go what it is now minus what it was. So we're going to say 2.8 minus 3.2 over 3.2, because we are finding the difference. And the difference, then we're going to take it times 100%. To get to a percent, you have to take it times 100, just like to get it from a percent to a decimal, you divide it by 100. To get it from a decimal to percent, you multiply times 100. So this equals negative 0.4 over 3.2 times 100%. That gives us a grand total of negative 12.5% decrease, because it's negative, so it's a decrease. They lost that many people. Go ahead and try, go to practice. 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. That's all for today.